Hey there, how are you today? My name is Dana Damara, and I am bringing you Astrocast. This is a monthly little overview of October astrology, which is really powerful, actually, this month coming up. We've got four planets going direct, and obviously a new moon and a full moon, and lots of energy in air signs. So I want to bring this to you. And I want to show it to you on my screen because it helps me kind of stay organized and not get all over the place, which I tend to do when I look at the stars. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Here we go. Awesome. Astrocast. Ah. All right. October 6th, 2021, new moon in Libra. So those of you who watch my new moon and my full moon recordings, you know that I come out with recordings on these days, and I'll have the new moon prepared pretty soon. But I wanted to just get this to you right away. I want you to look at that date, October 6th. So we have a new moon in Libra. We also have Pluto turning direct. And then we have a stellium, which is at least four planets in one sign. And Mars, Mercury, Sun, Moon, all in the sign of Libra. So all in the sign of air. And, the sun and the moon, I'm going to go over this on the new moon, but the sun and the moon are at 13 degrees, which is also the number of the divine feminine. So this is a really powerful time. I'm going to show you, I'm going to probably go back and forth between these two. So this is what the screen will look like for the new moon. And so this is pretty epic if you look at all of this energy sitting here in Libra. And if you just look to the left of the chart, you've got all those planets, all of that energy and air signs, and only one planet, which is the planet of healing and fire. So pay attention to, looking for new beginnings, looking for a whoosh of fresh air and new ideas, new inspiration. Look for endings, new moon and full moon are always times for endings and beginnings, but this is really a time to fuel some of those inspiring ideas and offer up your time and energy, resources to those ideas that maybe have been sitting there for a while. Also offering us this really empowered energy because of Mars. So Mars is the initiator. And so it's also fueled by the energy of Mars, empowering us to begin that thing, that project, that relationship. So it creates a sense of bold energy too. Libra is about balancing out relationships, finding harmony. So that is going to be a theme for a lot of the month because this is Libra Scorpio month. So just be aware of where that's happening for you in your life. If that's happening for you, if you've been sitting on something, know that this new moon and Pluto turning direct and all these energies sitting there on the 6th, it's going to start to come to fruition. Before I talk about Venus moving into Sag, I want to go back to the screen and just, Pluto is Pluto's the first of 4 planets turning direct. We've had almost all the planets in retrograde for a while, and Pluto is the energy of transformation. It's the internal shifting. It's rebirth. It's the energy of compost. I think of Pluto as composting. It turns the dark to light, and so Pluto's been in retrograde since April of 2021, and it's an intense planet. It's a small planet, but it's intense, and so really looking back to whatever's gone on for you from October 2020 to April 2021, when Pluto went into retrograde, whatever was going on then, the energy from April 2021 to now, or to October, is really the fruition of that. And what have you been working on internally for yourself? What inner transformations have you kind of pulled out of the ether, if you will, or out of the depths of who you are? Like, what have you done in journaling? What have you done in work? Like that kind of thing. Really start paying attention to that, because now you can start to move forward, especially with Mars. lots of energy in air, like I said, so be prepared for change. Venus in Sagittarius. So I like to talk about Venus because Venus is the goddess of love, and she's also the goddess of financial abundance and security and relationship, and most importantly, what we value. So, or how we value ourselves. And so Venus is the planet of value, right? And so all those other things that show up, finances, relationship, love, all are a reflection of how we value ourselves. So the question with Venus moving into Sagittarius is really, you know, are you willing to be adventurous in those areas? Are you willing to trust that you can allow yourself these things? Are you available to up level your value system of who you are? And that can take on different meanings, but Sagittarius is the adventurer, you know? So just notice what's coming up, and notice that Mars is at the apex of that, those little green dotted lines that actually mean something as well. So it really is time to trust that you are worth it. Let me say that again. Here, I'll take off my share too. Stop share. I just want to say it with this. It's time for you to really trust and step into that recognition that you're worth it. You're worth it. Venus and Sag, mark your date, October 7th. I'm going to share my screen again. Really helps me. So, all right, let's go back one little screeny, 2 screens. October 10th, whoop, whoop, Saturn turns direct. So there's 2 sides to Saturn turning direct. Those projects that you've been working on that are kind of like, you know, strewn about, you've got like this over here and that over here and this over here. It's like, whoop, zip tie. Saturn says, okay, long-term goals. Yes, let's make it happen. You need to pull it all in, rein it all in. And now there'll be a place for those pieces. The other thing though, is if you haven't been taking care of like your responsibilities, right? If you've been just kind of like aloof or like, dun, 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 I'm not sure, Saturn's going to go, hey, you get your shit together. So depends on where you're at, but Saturn turning direct is lovely. Well, most of the time, I guess, or some of the time, depending on what you're doing with the energy, what you did with Saturn in retrograde. And that is with everything. It all depends on what you've done prior to this moment in time, how it shows up for you. Jupiter goes direct on the 18th. I'm gonna, and Mercury. So Jupiter and Mercury both on the 18th turns direct. I'm gonna just skip on over. There's the 10th. Saturn. Yada, 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 Saturn. Oh, what's cool about Saturn going direct, I did want to say this actually, is that at the same time, we've got Mercury and Mars and the Sun still all sitting there in Libra. So again, lots of energy. If you've put forth the work while Saturn's been in retrograde, you're going to get like this little like usher forward. All right, here's the 18th. 18th, Jupiter and Mercury both go direct. Hallelujah. So now you have Jupiter and Saturn in an air sign. You have a north node in an air sign. Look at all this air. Like seriously, look at all the air. So don't be all like fiery and you know, kind of allow inspiration to come through as you move forward. Hardly anything in water. Not a time when this goes direct to be still in that dreamy state. I'm not saying you can't, I'm just saying a lot of air, a lot of shifting. And when Jupiter goes direct, this is really allowing yourself to feel enthusiastic about what's going on. Like, oh my gosh, this is happening, this is great. And being excited about what's coming up for you, you know. Things are moving basically, which is, thank God, right? Mercury going direct, we all know about Mercury. Everyone seems to understand Mercury retrograde. This is when our lower mind now begins to kind of catch up with all the dreams and all of the processes and all the initiation. This is when we start to kind of rethink our old relationships. We've had Mercury in retrograde for us to be able to review them. And now it's like Okay, now what is it that we truly desire? And so Mercury retrograde kind of upheavals information that we haven't been paying attention to. And when it comes direct, it's like we're kind of left with, okay, what do you want to do now? So make some great decisions, hey? October 20th is the full moon Aries. I believe this is the, oh, darn me. I forgot to do the printout for full moon. Oh, well, I'll go ahead and do the report for you guys and you'll get the bigger picture. But full moon Aries, let's go back to this screen here. Full moon, Dana Demara. It says full moon Libra, but I meant to say full moon Aries. So we have a full moon Aries, which is really important. And I'm going to go ahead and stop share since I messed up the screen anyways. It's not important. Think of Aries as the first sign of the zodiac wheel, right? So you have these new beginnings, you have the new ideas. So full moon Aries happens after all those planets go direct. And it happens with all this air. So you have all this air at your back, right? And so think about the full moon. Full moons are always a time for release. So full moons are a time for releasing whatever isn't working. But maybe you've been kind of doing that all along. This full moon is really about what's next and where are you going to allow yourself to kind of be ushered forward. It's exciting. It's exciting. I don't want to get too excited and give it all away, but trust me. Let's see if I did the rest of this correctly. I never claim to be perfect. Never, ever. Let's see. The 22nd, Sun enters Scorpio, and the 30th, Mars joins. Okay, so this one I definitely want to show you. There we go, 22nd. So on the 22nd, the Sun enters Scorpio. So this is when we go into that phase of mystery, sensuality, really feeling into life, seeking that deeper meaning of things. Scorpio is all about depths, and so the Sun will go off into Scorpio on that day. And then if you even look at this chart, you'll see Mars is right behind, and Mars will enter there about a week later, which brings energy and inspiration and competitive, perhaps. Maybe really remember Mars is the initiator. So Mars really wants you to move forward with those goals. And so whatever it is that you've been either working on or working through, you have this whole month to just like, okay, here we go. Where am I holding myself back? Oh, can't do that anymore. Retrogrades are over. So this month coming up is really a beautiful month to kind of get prepared and start to skate through whatever it is that you're ready to bring out into the world. We're heading toward the end of the year and the end of the calendar year, I should say. And so even take some moments in between and ask yourself, give yourself a pat on the back, how much you've been through, and use this month to really lighten the load and get ready for some new energy. So I will have a new moon and a full moon report ready for you before those moments in time happen. If you're here in Encinitas or anywhere around the general vicinity, I will be hosting a new moon sound bath as well as a full moon sound bath at Alila in La Costa. All that information is on my website. And if you want me to read your chart, please reach out to me. It's one of my most favorite things to do, because I find that when people kind of understand how their chart is in relation to what's happening now, they take a divine action. They feel inspired. So if that's you and you want me to read your chart, please reach out to me. I'd love to do it for you. Thank you so much. You can find me at danademara.com. Have a beautiful day. Mwah. Namaste. Thank you.